Hi, welcome to Las Patronas podcast. Today we're going to talk about
Money Making Mommies and how that came to be.
this is probably the third year, I think, that Alicia has put together a brunch for Mother's Day. Tell us more about that, babe.
So I was a very young single mom. I'm not single at the time, actually. But I was a very young mom. I had my first daughter when I was 17 years old. I was 3 months from being 18. So I was a senior in high school. And I actually used to take my daughter to school. And I ended up getting into real estate by the time I was 19, became very successful by the time I was 25. I always felt like I didn't have other people that I could really look up to or mentors. Most of the people in the industry that were as successful as myself, they were very established, had gone to college. If they had kids, they had nannies, so I had a different way of doing things. And I always felt like I didn't have a community. And I think that that's something about us women that we need that. Like, we need support. We need someone to talk to. We need someone to look up to, someone that will guide us. And as you know, I didn't really have a relationship with my mom. So it's not like I could say, hey, mom, I go to work with my kids. I literally used to take my kids to show houses with me.
They remember.
I used to take them to go look at my listings when they would get staged, home inspections. They worked, around my schedule pretty much. I would pick them up and drop them off at schools and sports. And so I had to juggle all these different things, and I never really had that. So when I did get a divorce in 2010, I created this community, Taking Over the World in Heels, on Facebook. And I started talking to other moms like myself, which I really like about social media.
Right.
I think that was my favorite part about social media, was being able to build a community of people like you,
Yeah, I think that social media has brought up so many great things if you utilize it the way it's for. Also, there's a lot of other negative stuff, and we can talk about that for years. But I feel that the people like yourself, you're not scared. You're not afraid to reach out to people. You're not shy. So, which it makes a huge difference because you've met a lot of people through social media.
Yes,
right?
really incredible people, and some people not so much. But you think that they're a certain way because of social media, and then you're like, oh my God, that's nothing like you. But the thing is that I've always been like that. I remember as a little girl being on the bus and talking to strangers left and right, or walking around in the streets, and I knew a lot of the homeless that lived in my neighborhood and all that, and I just talked to everybody.
You just love talking to people.
I guess, I don't know.
I guess you have a very friendly face where people feel like they can approach you. And there isn't a time where we go somewhere and you don't get approached about something, whether it's your dress, your shoes, your lipstick color, or whatever, which is amazing. But tell us more about what really is this brunch that you're hosting. And you're hosting, and when is it? Where is it at?
As I developed a community, I realized how much happier I was. I stopped thinking about the fact that I felt so alone. And even though I didn't talk to, people face to face daily about these problems that we would face, we would talk about them daily, multiple times a day. And it wasn't like a bitch fest. It wasn't like complaining. We actually helped each other out. Like, hey, I need advice on this. I'm dealing with, finding daycare that I can afford. I'm dealing with my ex-husband in court, and all these different things that we would talk about. And a lot of us had been going through it. So a couple of years ago, I started putting together the brunches, right? Because I wanted to celebrate us mothers. I never really thought about it, but unless my significant other put my Mother's Day together, I didn't have a Mother's Day because my kids were young. Now that they're older, they're starting to do their own thing, which is really, really nice. But, we are moms 24/7, 365 days a year. And one day is when you get appreciated, So I really wanted something special for moms. And that's where we came up with the Money Making Mommies brunch. And this year, the theme is Death to Mom Guilt, because that's something that all of us deal with on a daily basis. No matter how perfect you planned everything and how you made dinner and how you were able to show, in my case, how I was able to show 5 clients that day, opened escrows. If I forgot one thing, helping with homework, and then my daughter came to me at 9 o'clock at night, you haven't sat me down and helped me with homework, and I just lose my mind. and like beat myself up for that one thing that I didn't do right. And that's because of mom guilt.
Yes. And you know what? I didn't know about that because obviously I am not a mom. I didn't birth anyone. But now, ever since we've been together, which is going on 8 years, our lucky number, yay. So, yes, I do feel that guilt at times, like, oh, I wasn't there for this, or I could have done better and I could have done this for them instead of that. I mean, no matter what, I've been listening to the Spanish podcast, and it does talk about how, as a parent, there's always something that you're doing wrong. There's no such a thing as a perfect parent, right? You either miss this or miss that, or you do too much or you do too little, or there's always going to be a trauma for your kid, a trauma that you didn't even know that you were part of,
yeah,
right?
you can give them a too perfect life, and then now they don't know how to resolve problems. That's the thing that's happening with this newer generation.
Correct.
That we are so in tune with our feelings and what we say. Like this morning, I was telling you, I can't do this and I can't do that because, it'll
Yes.
cause this kind of trauma, because I went through so much therapy with my first daughter and I didn't know how to be the perfect parent. But now you're faced with, you do so much that children are starting not to develop any problem solving skills.
Yes. And that's exactly why this branch is so important, because you're going to share with other moms, whether they're entrepreneurs, the sacrifices and the things that you have to put to the side in order for you to keep going and pushing forward. So when you're
and how to juggle it,
and how to do
that's the most
it,
important
right?
thing, because it's not a set formula. You literally have to daily, multiple times a day, sometimes decide what is most important and configure that based on the hours that you have
and prioritize, obviously,
Yeah,
right? But
because we don't know, when you're a business owner, we don't know if we're gonna have, like, I have some friends that have like a restaurant. They've had like refrigeration issues, right? You don't know that that's going to happen, or you don't know that you're going to have an audit that day for your business. Like, our friend in escrow yesterday, you don't know. There's things that happen that you weren't anticipating for them to be a little longer.
Yes.
And so you have to reshift your whole day.
yes, and that's brings this conversation to a great point, is that it's easier said than done. We all know that, right? Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to be a business owner, or everybody wants to be that professional, to provide for your family, which is great. And kudos to everyone. However, when you're first starting, you don't have the luxury to say, I am going to go on my 5-day vacation with my family to prioritize my family time when you have no money.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Yes, you do have to prioritize. You do have to, when you're starting and you don't have those funds and you're building your business, you do have to sacrifice. You do have to not show up to the quinceañera. You probably have to not go to that family vacation. You probably can't go to every recital. You probably, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's once you get to a level in your career where you actually have other people helping you out and you have multiplied yourself and other people, then you can have the luxury of doing that. But the problem and the thing that I struggle with is when you're barely getting started, in your career, and you need the money and you need the exposure, and you're prioritizing your birthdays and your vacations and your sleepovers and your drunken nights, and because I got free tickets for a concert, whatever. That is not prioritizing your business. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the luxury, because I'm telling you, because I was there. You were there. We didn't have that luxury. Now, thank God, we're at a level where we can. You know what I'm saying? But it took how long?
Yeah.
I mean, how old are you? How old am I? It didn't. So now when I see this new generation prioritizing their personal life and well-being and but they have zero in their savings. They don't have a plan in the future. And they're struggling on a daily basis to even put gas. I don't think that's a way of life either.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
Well, I never struggled, thank God. Because I am very resourceful, and because I was very conservative with my funds. Even when I was young when I started making six figures at 19, 20, I was already making six figures. First of all, I knew I was going to get 1099, right? So what I did is before that I had a regular W-2 job, and I calculated how much if my taxes were getting taken away of my money. That's actually not the correct way to do it because 1099 is different from W-2, but it was okay because it was actually when you're W-2, they take more taxes than they need to because at the end of the year you pay less because you have deductions. That's a whole nother podcast. However, I believe the number was like 23 or 27%, something like that. And so then I was just like, screw it, I'm going to do 30. Anything I make, I'm going to save 30% of every single check. Well, that stacked up quite quickly, you know? So thank God I always thought mentally in that way, which also, you know, we've talked about the last podcast. It's not always the best way to be super conservative because sometimes you miss out on great opportunities because you're like, oh, no, if I don't have enough to, I had this mentality, if I didn't have enough to pay the payments for 12 years on an investment, for 12 months on an investment property, I wasn't going to buy it. I passed up a lot of really great opportunities. So long story short, the best way to do it is, yes, have a plan, have a budget. Hey, when I have a cushion, I would say at least 50,000 for your business, then you can plan vacation. And 50,000 is actually generally low. That would be like a vacation to like a 3-day vacation with your family, like on a little cruise to Rosarito. And the reason why, especially in real estate, is that you have to continue to grow your pipeline. And I think that's in any industry that you have sales. You have to know that when you're gone, your money is still growing, right? So it's either an investment in other real estate and Airbnbs and stocks, whatever it is that you invest in, that when you leave, when you come back, you are okay to pay all your bills, right? And that's why the cushion. Don't leave knowing that you're going to come back and start all over. But that happens in real estate. You leave and you don't have the clients that you had before. You have to start from square one. And a lot of agents do that. They go, and then they disappear. And then they go, and then they disappear. And what happens is when they come back, it takes them 3 to 6 months to get more clients. So you have to live on whatever money you have reserved. And I'm sorry, $50,000 for 3 to 6 months is usually not enough. Our business is expensive. You pay for gas, you pay for marketing, you pay your office fees, you pay your broker fees, you pay your MLS, you pay your Supra. So you really have to have a plan of action on when you're going to leave, how much money it's going to take for you to have in cushion. And can you leave, like if you're part of a team, can you leave your deals with someone else? That is the best scenario, is to have a team where you can say, I'm going to leave for these dates. And then when I come back, I got you and you can leave on vacation and I'll take care of everything.
That's what
so
it
that
should
it's
be.
Fair. Yeah.
That's what it should be like.
That's the ideal situation.
Exactly. So the whole brunch situation with moms, right? The event is on May 11th.
Yes, it's on May 11th. And we have 3 speakers. We're going to have a panel. I'm most likely going to just be the host and just share my story very slightly. But I'm going to have 3 entrepreneurs. One is Estela. She's one of our clients and friends, and she's the owner and founder, co-owner and co-founder of Twinkie's Boutique. Her and her sister, her twin sister, have a boutique online that does very, very well.
And they just opened actually a larger physical.
Well, no, it was last year. No, larger location. Yeah.
So it was online first, and then they opened a small boutique, and now they have a way larger boutique.
Larger.
They've been growing
with like a salon and different things like that. Yeah. So she will be chatting about that, telling her story and how she went from working at a dental office to this, to having her own business, growing, how she planned it out, that sort of thing, how she manages and juggles it with motherhood. We'll also be having Cindy, and she is the founder and creator of Her Society. And it's a school, like a makeup school, where they also do makeup and glam and all of that. They have mobile stylists. They have events there as well, and like a little boutique as well. And then Alma Ramirez, which is an influencer, a mother, and also a loan officer. So yeah.
And we might have another guest, right? But we're not confirmed yet. So we're not going to talk about it just yet. So, and then you have Alicia, of course, who's going to talk about her struggles and her success and everything else. So this whole brunch event is for you moms out there. So if you're a daughter, even if you're not a mom, but your mom was there for you and you've seen the struggle and you've seen that she's still working, or maybe she was working super hard, and you love your mom, you love your sisters, anyone that you know that it's a mom that deserves to be in this brunch is going to be amazing. Honestly, those events are super nice. You leave the place really feeling a fool. right?
I know.
I
love
told you
it.
that.
So many people reach out to me afterwards and they're like, thank you for that. That was so incredible. Obviously, we're going to have music. We're going to have brunch. We're going to have mimosas. We're going to have a lot of fun. And I think it's a great time to just, if you have a friend that's a mother, if you have, like you said, someone that you really love, it doesn't have to be your own mother, like bring her and just say, you know what, I wanted to celebrate you. And I think she'll have so much fun.
Yes. And the tickets are on sale now. They're on Eventbrite, and we're gonna share with you guys the link so you can go there and buy your tickets. Invite everyone that you love. Bring them over. This will be an amazing way to treat them. There's also going to be a lot of information, new friends that you're going to be able to make here, people that you can actually look up to. Remember that what in life, you got to get out of your comfort zone in order for you to succeed at any type of success that means for you. You know, my success, her success is different than yours, and that's totally respectable. So it is important for you guys to treat those loved ones to a brunch like this. I wish we had it more often, and we shouldn't celebrate moms just one day a year. You guys should be celebrated on a weekly basis, because hats to you. Like, seriously, you guys are amazing. I see it. You know, right? I'm with you every single day. And I feel the guilt sometimes, although I didn't birth those kids or my nephews. So I can only imagine how it feels like deep inside, you know? So I really suggest for you girls to come join us, because it's going to be amazing. I guarantee you a great time and a very spiritual and mental cleanse. That's what I want to call it. It's
what
amazing.
What I love too is that a lot of times women will come to not only this one, but the vision board event that we have, and they'll come by themselves, and they'll come up to me and they'll say, I came by myself. I was so nervous to come, but it had such a great time and I made friends, and I'm so glad that I came. That's why I do this, is because I want to create a space for women to get to know each other, because a lot of times we stay friends with our family, our sisters, people from high school that we have nothing in common with anymore, right? And there's a certain vision that we have about ourselves, but we don't really know anyone that's like that, right? Like I said, I didn't know anyone that was as young as me in this industry, that was Latina, that had a very strict policy about being with her children. The reason why I chose real estate is because I didn't want to take my kids to daycare, right? So for me, I didn't know anyone like that. And if there would have been something like this, I would have so taken advantage of it, because I'm sure I would have met a lot of other women like myself, right? So that's what I encourage. I encourage you to come and just get the vibe going and
be open-minded.
Yeah, open yourself up to some new relationships, because I love that some of the people that I follow on social media that I met through these brunches, that I met through other events we've had, are now friends with each other.
Yes, I love that. You put a lot of people together, which is great. And you know, if you don't use your abilities that God gave you to actually put them to work, then what are we doing here, right? Because we could be good at many things, but I can't think of the word for tu don. What is it? Your
strength?
Your strength. Yeah, there's another word for it. I can't think of it right now. But your strength, what really comes to you naturally from your heart, from
like
your
my
gut,
superpower
is your your superpower is connecting people.
I love
connecting people. And if you don't put that to work, then what's your purpose here? You know? So I love that about you, and many other things, of course. But the fact that you put women together and people together, it's amazing. I know they call you the what's it called? The queen of networking, because of that reason. You don't just put events together, you put people together.
I do,
you know?
and I love to do that.
And you love to do that. And I know you do. And that's why you are who you are and you are where you're at, because it's your true essence, you know, and that's amazing. So
thank you.
To close it up, I want to say again, mothers, what's the title of the Mothers Brunch?
Making Mommies. It's on Eventbrite.
And it's May 11th. What time?
It's from 12 to 4.
So 12 to 4 here in the city of Upland. Again, get your tickets, register. We're going to give you guys the link. So please join us. It's going to be amazing. Bring your moms, bring your aunties, bring your sisters, bring everyone. They all deserve to be here. Trust me. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Saco mis cadenas.